Awesome. Very cool. All right, well, my presentation here is called Moonlight, the Infinite Creative. I'm pretty much just gonna share a little bit of my story with you all. I'll perform some poetry for you guys, and we have a little exercise towards the end, and hopefully you get what you get out of it, right? So a little bit of my, there we go, hold on, back up, wait a minute. Slide ahead. So this is a mural actually downtown on the corner of Pine and, oh gosh, I forget the other street. But Clark Orr was the artist here, and I was commissioned to write a poem about Orlando in connection with this mural downtown. And so I'll start off performing that, and then we'll go forward from there. Y'all ready to hear some poetry? All right. Orlando, land of the free and home of the waves, where fireworks dilate the eyes of the night sky, bright whites, reds, and magentas bang, spread like spider webs across the constellation. We're just colorful people, creating the culture, comfortable in the winter, using soap suds for snowflakes with no shame. Visitors' symbols of space exploration dangle from keychains. The coast is a quick drive. Atlantic breeze, vibes, where a Sunday stroll through Lake Eola or Lorna Doone won't cost you a dime, and the options for fine dining come a dime a dozen and doesn't feel like the same meal. It is unbelievably real. Ripley's Believe Me or Not, I've seen orange flames disappear into the black abyss, a sonic booming position for business where innovation is limitless, where high-tech intersects with every industry. Spring bliss, our Lando, the land of magic and microchips, 500,000 plus college students within 100 miles absorbing the cutting edge of everything under the sun. We take pride in our lions and guardians that govern the magic we run, and we run laps, the flagship destination to put metaverse on the map. Orlando, land of many languages, reflected in the cuisine, where convention center conferences and upside down buildings share the same street. We are playful where we meet, creatively serious. We are EA Sports and Steinmetz Hall, Dolphins and Gators and the Millennium Mall and the Florida Mall. We shop and kayak and get in where we fit in, because this expanding global hub either got something for everyone or blank spaces on the canvas waiting for acrylic paint, where your worst day could still feel like your birthday, especially in October. Fiestas and parades. Look, we celebrate days like 407 Day. Land of the free, home of the waves. So much more to reveal. Between the water slides and the 400-foot wheel, we are unbelievably real. Yay. That's that poem right there. Puzzle piece written for Visit Orlando, and we'll, more of that to come. But yes, as mentioned earlier, I am the Poet Laureate for the city of Orlando. You can guess which one is me in the picture of the three guesses. Anyway, so a quick funny story about this whole Poet Laureate thing and how it came to be. The mayor, Mayor Dyer, was at one of these mayor conferences where mayors talk about like mayor stuff, I guess. And he heard some other mayor in some other city bragging about their Poet Laureate and all the awesome things that they were doing for the city. And I imagine at that time in 2017, he was like, wait a minute, we ain't got one of them, So they established a process to select a Poet Laureate, and Susan Lilly here was the first Poet Laureate. She was supposed to serve a 3-year term, but 3 years from 2017 was 2020, and what happened there. And so she ended up serving an extra year, and then I was selected as the second Poet Laureate for the city of Orlando, which pretty much, thank you. Yeah. I'm fancy, pinky in the air, whatever. It's just pretty much a representative of poetry and literary arts and storytelling in your city. And so, it's a way for government to like honor that, you know? And so, but that position, I was doing poetry long before I became Poet Laureate. So a little bit of my story, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Moved down to Orlando in 1993 when I was about 10 years old. Pretty much grew up in Orlando at the height of when, you know, Shaq and Penny and like Orlando was like all booming and super awesome. And I was just getting into basketball at that time. And I would spend my summers in Brooklyn with my dad, right? But my senior year of high school, I moved back up to New York and I was the new kid all over again. And it was really a perfect storm for me to be introduced to poetry and lyricism because I was surrounded by a lot of creatives, very similar to this environment here. And I wondered if I could do what I heard all of my friends doing, my classmates, people that were on my basketball team. Everyone was writing and performing and in the hallways and on the sidewalks, like cypher life, like it was just the culture, right? And so that's the environment that I was saturated in, and I wondered if that was something that I could do, right? I was like, you know, like, I wonder if, you know, and so it was really in that space of being in a new environment and not having any friends, per se, that allowed for me to discover that I had a gift for writing and performing and creativity. So the story goes, I wrote a little rap thing. That's kind of how it started out. And I shared it with one of my buddies to ask him like what he thought about it. And he thought that I was playing around, that I had always been writing, when the truth is I wasn't, right? And so that whole senior year of high school, that's all I did every day was write and perform and bring it back to the ciphers and everything like that. And and so that was kind of how I got started into this thing. And I ended up moving back after graduating high school to Orlando and started looking for other people who did what I did and got connected with an artist community. And we did a poetry play, some of my friends that were into speaking and performing. And that play ended up being in the newspaper. The director at 33rd Street Jail saw these young black energetic kids doing positive things in the community and invited us to speak to the youth offenders at 33rd Street Jail. And that's this next picture here. So this is 2006. We ended up pretty much starting a class there where we would engage with incarcerated youth and expose them to writing and performing. And this is a snapshot from a poetry show that we organized in the jail where we'd bring their loved ones and their parents and stuff to kind of see them express themselves. And we pretty much did that every week, every Saturday for 2 years at 33rd. So these are our classmates. And it was a great time. But it was through this experience that I got to see the power of poetry and the power of having artistic expression really modeled, and just the empowering nature of it, right? And so I was inspired by that, not just performing, but seeing how it translates, right? And so there's another class. We made little certificates for them, right? Fun stuff. And I was like, I got to start an open mic night. This is too good, and needs to be like out in my community. So I was invited to National Poetry Slam in 2006 in Austin, Texas. And when I came back from that, the impact that had, in addition to in addition to the experience I had at the jail, inspired me to start my own open mic night. So September 19th, 2006, that's what I did. And it's just people getting up, performing, doing poetry, songs, raps, comedy, whatever it is. And this night actually continues to this day. It's the longest running open mic night in Orlando. I've been doing that every week for 17 years. So clap it up for that. Right? And so that's just a little bit of my story. There's a lot more to share, but I just want to impress upon you that all of like the trajectory of my life and what I've become started from a place of wondering what it would be like if I could do something, right? And really visualizing that until it actually became a reality, and sort of the rest is history. But it has other implications as well. And at this time, I want to introduce my wife, Jannah. Welcome. You didn't know she was speaking, but she is. Let's clap it up for her. She's going to talk a little bit about the benefits of wondering.
Thank you. Has anyone ever been to Diverse Word? Yeah. Yeah? Awesome. Has anyone seen the mural downtown? Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So one of the things that I'm kind of going off script, I'll be really brief, but just to think about, this is a room of creatives, and a lot of times, people who are not, there are a lot of people out there in the world who believe they aren't creative because they don't do poems, or they don't write raps, or they can't create a graphic. But creativity is in each and every one of our DNA. It doesn't matter what it looks like. And I believe during the season of COVID, people rediscovered that creativity that they had, whether it was gardening or or baking or taking care of a pet. We realized again just how creative we were and how badass we were at it. Does anyone remember that time or feeling like that? Like rediscovering what really mattered in terms of what it was that you could actually do with your hands, with your innate gifts, the things that maybe you had never gone to school for? Right? Yeah. So I want to kind of paint that picture of how powerful it is to make time to wonder, to make time to sit back and be creative when it's not tied to your paycheck. It has been proven that it's essential to life, to our mental well-being, and ultimately for our just health, and it's good for humanity. And so, have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a superpower? Has anyone? Right? When I was a kid, we used to play this game and say, if you had a superpower, what would it be? Did anyone ever do that? Yeah. So does anyone want to tell me what they wanted as a superpower? Anybody want to tell me? Mine was being invisible. Being invisible. Anybody want to be invisible? Anybody want to tell me why? I'll tell you why, but someone want to share why you wanted to be invisible? Come on, I know you want to tell me. Go ahead. What's your name?
My name's Scotty.
Scotty, why do you want to be invisible?
I just thought it would be cool to be in a room and not realize you were there.
Absolutely. Yes, he felt like he could be in a room and no one would know he was there. He'd be like, I hear you talking about me. I hear what you said about me. Ooh, I was a fly on the wall, right? So as children, we not only could say what we wished our superpower was, but we could say why. Everything is connected to our why. And so, thank you. So this is the picture of me. I was always considered a daydreamer, a wanderer. My dad used to say, stop gazing, do something productive. Stop thinking, stop daydreaming, go do something. And so, just a little backstory about me. I'm from a little town called Kissimmee, Florida. And I grew up in a house that was full of domestic violence, poverty, abuse. And at the age of 14 years old, I got pregnant with my first child. That's my daughter back there, Kiara. And at 17 with my son. He's back there too. And this is a picture of me. And so, while I was a wanderer by nature and a creative by nature, like all of us are, that wandering and that creative aspect of my life kind of got squandered as a result of me having to take on responsibilities that most children my age shouldn't have to. So there were times, because Kissimmee is a tourism town, right, in Orlando, I would go, and I was determined not to give up on myself and quit school. I would work hotels, clean the hotel rooms, and then on Highway 27, I would go out and clean vacation homes, sometimes until 6 o'clock in the morning, bringing my kids with me. I would put them in one room, and I would clean that room, then I would put them in the next room, and I would just mop my way all the way out the door with them, putting them in the car. That was my reality. And then at this time, I actually had a nervous breakdown. I pretty much my mind split in two. I couldn't believe the reality that I was living. It was not what I wanted for myself. And at that time, I used to have 3 to 4 anxiety attacks a day. I was a hypochondriac. If I read that someone had a disease in the newspaper, I would think that I would have it. I'd go to the mirror looking at my eyes and see, are they dilating? Are they turning colors? People thought I was really losing it. And no one was talking about mental health, especially in my community. The things that they would say about me, oh, she's cute, but she's kind of crazy. Things like that. And I remember in that time of just that feeling like I was spiraling out of control. The reason why I'm telling you this, in that time of feeling like I was spiraling out of control, there was this thought that I kept having internally, like an inquiry, almost like a mutter, like a prayer that I was saying to myself, I just gotta find my way back. I know that I wasn't born this way, I gotta find my way back. And in that place of being creative and making space to wonder, in the middle of a time where people say your brain is no good without something or someone externally giving you medicine or helping you along. I am a life coach and I believe in therapy. I'm a product of therapy. But at this time, I believe no one was coming to save you, save me. So there's something that happens to us when we feel like no one's coming. We either can let go or we can unleash the beast inside of us and thrive. And that's what happened. I got this vision of myself, and I remember when I was a kid that I wanted to be married. I saw myself, I had this vision, and I saw myself being a successful businesswoman. I remembered how I wanted to be a philanthropist and how I used to give old clothes to a family in my neighborhood who couldn't afford it. I remembered, and it's crazy how beautiful the mind is sometimes. Crazy how beautiful the mind is. That vision for myself was like a divine blueprint, and I held onto it. And I would spend time thinking about what my life would be like on the other side of this perpetual brokenness. And step by step, somehow, as I became emotionally aroused and engaged with this vision for my life, it began to take form in my reality. There's so many studies now of how the mind can do things, but trust me, I wasn't reading no books on this right now, back then. You can go on YouTube and you can find all of the facts and the data and the podcasts about how powerful the mind is. I am saying this so that if you are finding yourself stuck, you can recreate your reality by wondering. So here, one of the things that I wondered, I didn't have the privilege of going to different parks. I used to wonder what it would be like to be on a carousel. I have never been on a carousel. And here I am, 30 years old, on a carousel. It's a dream come true for me. Next slide. And here I am. We're one baby shy now. We have an 18-month-old. This is me. We have 5 children. And this is a picture of us and our children a couple of years ago on Thanksgiving. So the reality that I had in my mind, and if I would tell let me just say this. It's important for you not to tell everybody your dreams. I would say, I just desire to be married, and I see myself married, and I see myself being a business woman, and I would start writing things down about my future, and it was just like, okay, you're gonna do what? Yeah, you got 2 kids. No man is gonna want you. Like, you're damaged goods. Lies. If I were to believe them, my life would look really different right now. So here, whenever I'm working with high-level executives or doing one-on-one coaching or speaking in a group like this, I offer something based on the works of Gabe and Katie Hendricks. Has anyone ever heard of the book, The Big Leap? No. So Gabe and Katie are my mentors, and I'm certified by them, but we offer something called a new time structure for creative people because we recognize the value of making time for ourselves. Here's the problem. The more successful we get, the less time we have for creative innovation. We spend more and more time getting further and further behind. Because we're in the West, that doesn't mean in task, but it certainly can mean in innovation and in creativity. We just keep going and going and going. And the solution is committing to a new time structure, one that places a high priority on creative time. So I'm moving quickly here for the sake of time. And so this is how it works. We divide our days into alpha, beta, and gamma days. If you want, you can take a picture of this. So alpha days, I like to start out with this one, are open, unstructured days. There's no phone calls, no reading, emails directly related to business, and no expectations of focus on productivity. This is hard for us Americans because we must get it done. You mean don't look at my email? Don't read a text. It's like, I remember trying to take a nap. I caught myself napping, and what was it? Oh, I was getting my lashes done for the first time. I don't think I'll ever do it again. It wasn't bad. I was getting my lashes done, and my eyes were taped shut, and I kept doing this to my phone. I was like, that is wild. Oh my gosh, somebody should do a study on that. So alpha days, beta days. This is intense focus. This is what I call balls to the wall. You go hard with that energy to get things done. You don't leave any table, any stone unturned. You go after it. Hold self to a high standard of focus and productivity. And then the third one is gamma days. These are transitional days, travel days, errands, as much business as possible, but this way. As much business as possible, as much without putting yourself under so much pressure, right? And this works different for everybody. So this is not something you go home and kind of figure out. You just kind of look at your life and see what days would work best for me as a gamma day. Some people say Wednesday, right? Mondays for me is an alpha, is a beta day. I like to get things done on Monday. So this is something to swish around and to see how it might work for you, if at all. So that's all I have to share today. Thank you so much.
That was Jannah. Yeah, we like to tag team this thing. So we're gonna have a little performance break. So this next poem that we are gonna do is called Death and Love, and it came from a place of wondering what the connection was between death and love. Yeah, so enjoy.
Can I get on my side?
That's how we practiced it, y'all. Generally speaking, opposites attract. And I'm not killing myself for love, nor would I love to die, but it seems we can't live without each other. You see, I see this feeling like bright lights at the end of the tunnel they tell you to stay away from on hospital beds where the heart monitor is playing the soundtrack to your life's documentary, Flash. A soldier dies in war because they love their country.
Or the country loves the money that boils.
Or that soldier loves the God that sent them on a mission. I don't know why they die, but love always seems to be nearby. Like the love in marriage ends with vows, like till death do us part.
Like the death of Christ begins with, for God so loved the world.
Death and love each other, like tears and tombstones.
Ice cream and cones.
Cookies and cream, Haagen-Dazs, raisin rum. It's to die for. Different flavors of affection, like it's gonna take the death of my pride for me to ever say something like, you are the most beautiful person my eyes have had the privilege to behold. And I long for your Sistine Chapel touch, but I have a feeling you won't allow me to love you like I want to, because I have a small problem with compromise, sometimes holding you back from knowing all of who I truly am, but I truly am in love with you.
Montague and Capulet could be our life story.
Lay down and drown together, death by suicide if our parents can't see eye to eye. And that might sound a little extreme, but extreme feelings deserve extreme descriptions. Our love outdates dictionaries. So meant for the loss for words, it's your fault.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. It's your fault. This could be our first argument, which could end in understanding, which I've learned is the purpose of conflict.
We lock lips in the name of forgiveness.
Reserve our rooms in eternity with a lakeside view of our children searching for what we've already found. My God, the sirens are loud. You are my imagination, holding reality hostage at gunpoint, guns down. I just want to negotiate. I just want to love you.
I want you to love me too.
I want you to slowly hand over the reality of us being together for life in exchange for mine. And nobody dies here.
Nobody dies.
You see, I see this feeling like bright lights at the end of the tunnel they tell you to stay away from on hospital beds where the heart monitor is playing the soundtrack to your life's documentary, Flash. Play cousins to notes like, do you like me? Check one, yes, no, or maybe. Flash. Adolescent second and third bases, Flash.
Last dance, prom night on the basketball court.
Flash. A very interesting story about a prostitute that I've only told my sister. Flash. Don't judge me. Flash.
Dinner at the Radisson where I used to perform.
Flash. Back to the narrative. Life teaches us that the success of any relationship has a lot to do with finding a comfortable common ground to live on. And death and love don't have anniversaries. They've always infinitely existed as one because they live by rules of war. You're never too young to die. That's right. All right. All right. Where's the clicker? Where's the clicker? Get the clicker. Thank you. I hope that was entertaining for you all. But it all stems from wondering, right? Like we create magic when we create this space, right? Intentionally. So I'm going to ask you real quick, what do you wonder? And we're going to go through a little exercise here to kind of help practice that. We wonder things all the time, but it's rare that we have a space where we think about what we're thinking about, right? And actually write that down and stuff like that. So on your sheet of paper that's in front of you, we only got about 15 minutes left. I would like for you to write serious on the top left. Serious on the top left of that sheet of paper. And on the right side, the top right, I would like for you to write playful. Serious on the top left and playful on the top right. And then, I know these directions are fast, but I'm moving us along here. This will be fun, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be fun, whatever, we'll making assumptions here, right? I'd like for you to draw a line down the middle as though you're making two columns. Serious on the top left of your sheet of paper, playful on the top right of your sheet of paper with a line down the middle of those two, and we'll go from there. So I would like for you to write down things that you wonder, okay? I'm just gonna give a few examples and then I'm gonna toss it over to you, okay? So things that I wonder. I wonder what my career will look like a year from now. You don't have to write right now, but just absorb these examples, okay? I wonder what or who my children will choose for a mate when they're adults, right? Or they're gonna live with me forever, I don't know. Teasing, no shade, no shade. I wonder how different my life would be if I were raised by my biological dad, which is a long story that we don't have time for, all right? But these are serious wonderings, okay? And on the right side, I wonder how come I never see baby squirrels? That's a thing. I've never seen one yet. Whatever. I wonder what my dreams mean. I wonder what really lives on the ocean floor, all right? So I just want you to take intentional time, think of at least one serious wondering, one playful wondering, and just write it down, okay? I'll give you 5 minutes. And also in the interest of time, when you're done, find somebody next to you and share that with your neighbor, okay? After you write. Check, there we go. I feel like we should have some hip hop, lo-fi girl music. You know what I mean? Conversations. We're gonna just land the plane. I'm gonna land the plane on that. All right, we're back. I'm sorry to interrupt. I know it was so good. I know it was good. That's what happens when we wonder, But The truth of the matter is that had I not wondered what it would be like if I could do what my friends did, you know, I don't know if the trajectory of my life would be where it is today, right? You've seen the example from Jannah, kind of wondering like what life would be on the other side of all of those social hurdles, challenges, and stuff like that. So there really is power in that, and I just wanted to, kind of share that. Where's the, there is the clicker. I keep losing it, it's so bad. All right, so little quote here, it's not who you are that holds you back, it's who you think you're not. All right, so that's just a little final thought I wanted to share with you all. And if anyone has any feedback from the exercise or questions for us, either one of us or together, then we'll answer those. And thank you for the time here. All right. Me, Jannah. All right, cool. So, questions? Not all at once. Yes, I saw your hand first.
Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? I think, so I'm kind of a little nerdish. I like to share things that I learn. Nowadays, early on, it was kind of more just like trying to flex, like to show that I can do it, right? So a lot of heavy in a rhyme and kind of word flipping and puns and all that kind of cool stuff. It was kind of like, it was my 17-year-old self. Like, I'm cool too. And then as I learned more and, I remember my freshman year taking a political science class. It was like the things that I was learning about like Middle Eastern conflict and stuff like that. Then that would be infused into my work, right? So, I think it just kind of gradually changed, and I'm inspired by the things around me, not necessarily an individual or a person. There's certain styles of artists that I like, but in terms of inspiration around what I produce, that comes more from things that I just observe, in my inner world and my outer world. So, yeah. Yes. Oh, sorry. You had your hand right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go in order, be fair and stuff like that. All right, go ahead.
When you're creating or writing, what is the moment, like what are the parts of it that give you goosebumps, that like make you really excited?
So the question was, when I'm writing, what parts of that give me goosebumps or kind of get me excited? I don't know. I think that in the writing process, I don't write linearly, if that's a word. I try to get out all the thoughts of the things that I want to say about said topic or said feeling, right? And then I construct them in the best order that makes sense for my audience, right? And so, it looks different, but I'd say most of my writing comes from that, and I think I just get excited about some of the little tidbits. Like, okay, this will be, I don't know what order this is gonna go here, but this is gonna be said right here. And so that's how. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so good. I don't know where it's gonna go. Am I closing with this? Am I gonna start with this? So anyway, anyone else? Yes, right here. Oh yeah, that's fair. 1, 2. All right, and then you're next. Cause I saw your thing. Go ahead.
What's your favorite word?
My favorite word? I don't know if I have a favorite word. I like all the words.
Is there one that is that?
I'm gonna have to come back to you on that one. I need a favorite word. I need a favorite word so I can answer that question better next time. I do. Yeah. Yeah. Or not. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite word. I'm sorry. Yes.
So when you're writing, do you ever get like a feeling that like something's speaking to you, or you're like picking up on something that you wouldn't get like logically, but do you know what I'm saying? Like a subject, like, oh wow, you wrote about Orlando, and maybe you like picked up something that.
Yeah. So I do have moments of like where it feels more like divine inspiration when I'm writing, and that does happen when I'm actually just sitting in front of the work. And I'm allowing myself to be open to whatever thoughts kind of fire. But it does require that like intentional time. But yeah, I have moments like where I'm like, oh, where did that come from? The connection between, this and that. I mean, I could perform. Trying to think if I have an example of that, but yeah, no, I do have moments where it's like I feel like divinely inspired. So I can't think of an example now, but I mean, most of my work I feel is just great, and then I've been doing it for so long too. I kind of developed a habit or a practice of stopping and like allowing that sort of portal to help me create. Yes.
So then, on that note, are you a sketcher in the sense that if you're a visual artist, we'd have sketchbooks and we'd use it for another poster or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a notebook of like lines or text that you'll eventually put together into a bigger format? That you'll think of a great rhyme. It's like, oh, what rhymes with Orlando? It's like,
So in terms of sketching, there is a measure of that I do, especially lately. Like most of my, I guess I'd say bigger gigs, clients, like I'll custom create something like OUC comes to mind now, the power company, power and water and stuff. They're having their 100-year legacy luncheon on October the 4th. So right now I'm writing a poem for that legacy luncheon. I'm like, okay, power, water, electricity, community, But when I met with their executives, one of the things that they mentioned, they were like, okay, we're really focused on reliability, the reliable one, whatever. Reliability, affordability, which is subjective, whatever, and sustainability, right? But those three words kind of stuck out to me, and I was like, okay, that's a framing when it comes to like a sketch, a reliability, affordability, sustainability. Okay, it's kind of like an outline, and then I can create, and all of my thoughts would kind of gravitate towards those three things so that I meet the needs of that client. But it also kind of frames the piece so that when I'm saying it, it feels natural to their ethos. You know what I mean? So in terms of sketching, I do try to get some kind of a framework and then kind of allow that inspiration to kind of fill it, and then the end product is what it is. So yeah, there is some of that. And so I'll give you another quick example. I know we got to get out of here. Last year, the Pulse nightclub shooting memorial service ceremony. They had a big sort of gathering at the location, right? And I was asked to write a poem that both, like, I guess, honored the pain, but also was like a source of inspiration and hope. And I remember there, like, oh man, like fully transparent, I felt like, a little imposter syndrome, right? Identify as he, him, that's sort of like, I didn't, so there was a little bit of imposter syndrome, but then it was kind of like who better to, like I'm the Poet Laureate for the city of Orlando, like, come on, and so as I was sitting there writing that poem, I started to like visualize what the atmosphere would be like, right? So I started to see like a lot of colors, obviously. You have survivors, you have, different, all sorts of different folk, like in our community. And then I thought of that sketch. I was like, okay, what if I went down the colors of the rainbow and kind of wrote around that? So if you hear the poem, I feel like I need to perform the poem now. It's not gonna make sense. But red, oh gosh, what's after red on the spectrum? Orange, taking right. And I went down, I was like, oh man, this outline helps me create this piece. And then I could think about the feeling in that moment and do okay. Can I perform that piece, son? All right. I wasn't planning on doing this, we triggered that. So I will use the mic. It goes, all right, I have to give you a little bit of forethought of what I was thinking in that moment. So the first line that came to me when I was tasked with that was, don't enjoy your favorite meal at your mother's funeral, right? That's like some quote, or it's like a thought that's out there. And I was like, man, what if I kind of like present that idea, but say, kind of have this thought of like, enjoy your favorite meal anyway, like in the midst of the pain, still find sources of hope in life, right? And so that was kind of like the overarching like theme, and then I kind of used that, the colors to kind of help color it in. So it goes like this. Favorite meals. Favorite meals smell like laughter from the voice boxes of children on seesaws, yet flavorless at memorial services. The same aroma that arouses salivation breeds cottonmouth when grief permeates the fog, the great paradox of a Sunday morning. The joy of 49 singing, I'll fly away, oh glory, in unison. The unity of a city sits on the shoulders of a nightclub, stained with love and courage, the color of red, the comfort of a light rain, the constant outpouring of support, lines to give wrapped around this region like a night train. New oranges grew back in Orlando that day. The hope of citrus more sweet than bitter will never erase the flushing feeling of that first phone call after, but aftermaths always seem to have one yellow canary finding its way out of a cave. Chaos crawled its way into a cocoon and came out as compassion with wings stretched wide as the sun. Sunday mornings remind me of video games. Mario Kart on Nintendo 64 to be exact. Hitting my brother with the green shell to be precise. Memories of these slice of life moments keeps us in the race. And ain't we all a human race? Ain't music in all of its forms make anybody feel some kind of way? When the beat drops, when the blue strobe light brushes the face, when Brother Bob say, one good thing about music, when it hits, you feel no pain. We rise slowly like the smoke from incense, the scent of indigo. And indigo ain't nothing but a love child of blue and purple. Ain't we all just colorful people creating the world we want to see and taste like our favorite meals? What more can I say in a poem that the city hasn't already shown? Beyond unity on the lawns, the long and short of our story is Orlando strong. Love conquers all, and strength may look like gentleness in one's tone, an ear for those feeling alone, a comforting poem or a song or some other art form unknown, because emotions are abstract as thoughts. Acceptance is best learned when taught. We ought bathe ourselves with understanding daily and floss. Y no me importa lo que piensan los demás. Our voices across languages sound the same to the ears of God. Enjoy your favorite meals while fond memories permeate the fog. Humanity we share. An honor to be here in the presence of passionate hope. I can feel it in the air. Yeah. So you kind of saw, like, I don't know if you heard like the colors throughout or whatever. Yeah, so that kind of helped guide me in like writing the poem, but like also thinking about the feeling, like and then I titled it Sunday Mornings. Sunday, Mournings, right? To kind of, it's that tension there between like a brighter day, but also like sadness in the midst of it. So, but yeah, anyone else? I know. Well, no. One last one because it's 10 o'clock. Go ahead.
You just have that sitting inside of you. We're able to remember all of it. How do you memorize?
Yeah. Well, this is all I do. I'm not good at anything else. I don't do anything else. All right. Well, that's my time, y'all. I appreciate it. Give it up for Victor.
All right, my people, that is an amazing way to start the morning, start your Creative Friday. A couple of last-minute announcements before we go. Please, big round of applause again for Big Eye, for the awesome videos, for Foxtail, and we have a pocket full of free coupons if you want to come. And I don't drink coffee, I didn't want to tell her at the time, so please come get these coupons. And next month, we already have it set up. It's going to be on August 25th. The theme is going to be Pride. We are going to be meeting over at the Full Sail Treehouse. Okay, Full Sail Treehouse. And our scheduled speaker is Tatiana Quiroga, who is the executive director of Come Out with Pride Orlando. And that's going to be on the 25th, Friday morning. Hopefully you can make it. Hopefully you can make it from now on. I appreciate you all being here early in the morning. I appreciate you driving from Sarasota, from Lakeland, from Ormond Beach, right? For everywhere else. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Be creative, be brave, and have a great rest of your day.